Other interesting cultural news, you have Tucker Carlson roasting Mark Cuban for his hypocrisy over Ukrainian aid. Now, this brought to us thanks to Benny Johnson. And he says, quote, "Stop everything and watch this. Tucker Carlson just exposed billionaire Mark Cuban live on stage. Cuban, who claims his family is from Ukraine, lectured about sending more money to Ukraine and how the U.S. should help while openly admitting he hasn't sent a single penny. Because, of course."
Mark, let me ask you a question.
And again, I mean, Mark Cuban is so stupid. He shilled for Kamala Harris, and he famously said it doesn't matter what her policies are, and if they change, all the way up to the day of the election. He's like, oh, it's okay if they change all the time. When again, he made his living thanks to stock of his company and selling stock, and he was like, oh yeah, you know, tax on unrealized, yeah, well, let's tax unrealized capital gains. Yeah, so he made his money, but you can't. He wanted Kamala Harris to kneecap your ability to make money. It's ridiculous. But here's a Mark Cuban here.
Mark, let me ask you a question.
Oh.
What's
Well, one of those things where I can never be too upset when technology doesn't work properly because, shoot, that's half my job in IT.
your take on whether we should be sending money to Ukraine? Mark, let me ask you.
Let's reload and see if it'll work now.
What's your take?
Well, apologies, I can't hear it, but I did review this earlier. Let's see here. Let's try one more time. Appreciate your patience. As always, click the subscribe button. Might make the show tolerable to watch, and I won't stutter or speak too fast anymore. No promises, though.
Mark, let me ask you a question. What's your take on whether we should be sending money to Ukraine or not? Were you in favor of that?
Man, they need it.
I mean, honestly,
I
don't have a good answer. You know, I can make an argument both ways, and half my family's Ukrainian from my grandparents. And so, you know, personally, I think we should help, but I don't have a studied answer for you.
How much money have you sent to Ukraine?
None.
Oh, so what do you mean by we? You're the one whose family's from Ukraine. Like, why don't you send them $1 billion?
Because I'm trying to fix healthcare.
Why don't you fix their health care if you're like so deep? If you think we need to help, why don't you start? How about you first? Yeah. I notice that's never like even an option for anybody. It's like, we need to help. That's not what charity is. Forcing other people to help is not charity.
Here's
it's
the good
vanity.
News. The good news is all the weapons were on loan lease. We're getting it back. And our dear President Trump has negotiated that we own half the minerals. So he turned this horrible tragedy of a war into a profit center, which is one of his unique gifts. I think we can all agree.
Right. Can I just?
Yeah, the funniest thing Zelensky ever said, famous comedian, was that we need to give more money to Ukraine because it'll be a great investment. I don't think we'll get $180 billion plus of minerals, natural resources, and trade from Ukraine anytime soon. One of the most corrupt governments on the planet, even CNN admitted prior to the Russia conflict. Yeah. But our tax dollars funded not only their healthcare, but not only the small businesses got money from us, their politicians and bureaucrats got healthcare from us, pensions from us, while we have people in America that struggle just to make ends meet. Some people in America that struggle so much, they put groceries on a payment plan. While again, we pay for Ukrainian healthcare, Ukrainian politicians to have their pensions, and a lot of the money we sent them isn't even audited. And again, I say we got kind of cliche, but yeah, once again, we got screwed over by Republicans and Democrats. $180+ billion. You could argue some of that comes back to us because it's military-industrial complex. But that's just moving money around. Like Uncle Sam steals $1 from you, then gives it to Ukraine, and then they spend $1 at Lockheed Martin, which employs some people here. It's not really creating value. It's just moving money around. Now, again, for the defense industry, if the defense industry were to sell to countries you don't get free money, then I understand the argument. You could argue that's good. That would be good for the economy. We're making more sales. But with Ukraine, we're giving them a mixture of cash as well as resources like munitions. So some of it is just moving money around. Some of it is just straight up cash money going to the void, the black hole that is Ukraine, which, yeah, let me know in the comments. I don't think we'll ever actually make a profit on this. But yeah, Mark Cuban's a typical leftist douchebag and perfect amalgamation or perfect representation of leftism. We need to donate more money when he, a billionaire, hasn't donated a dime. Again, if he donated even a couple $1 million, I'd at least respect his opinion a little bit more. Again, the amount of change that Mark Cuban could have Again, I don't think he actually tipped the scales of the war. I think his net worth is around $4 billion, which again is a lot of money, and he earned it. He had broadcast.com was $1 billion idea, literally. But he's saying we need to give more of our tax dollars to Ukraine, and he hasn't given any of his. I mean, the pure hypocrisy of leftists and saying our tax dollars should be used for everything except, hardworking Americans. Now, that's probably one of the best zingers Tucker Carlson has had all year. And this went pretty viral. It got 1.1 million views and 31,000 likes. One of the first comments is, well, not the most popular by number of likes, but I would say the most handsomeness. Obviously kidding, it's me, the topping show. And I say, quote, Cuban is so dumb he cheered for Kamala Harris. That's all you need to know about him. Getting 5 likes. Rich Mooney says, quote, liberals are always so generous with other people's money. It's a defining feature of the belief system. Getting 531 likes. Fact check true. Paul Zupa says, quote, Mark Cuban is sounding more like a socialist every day, getting 387 likes. The conservative alternative says, quote, half of Mark's family lives in Ukraine and he hasn't sent a single cent. Does he really just admit that on camera, getting 258 likes? Yeah. Kind of reminds me of AOC, who again makes 6 figures every year, which I would argue for what she does, way overpaid. But there's a time where she complained that her abuela was struggling to have a house or a car, and it's like, you make what AOC makes like what $200,000 a year, and her net worth is even more because of stocks that she could sell if she chooses to as she trades in the stock market. I mean, her net worth is in the millions. Granted, not all of it is liquid, but yeah, AOC was like, oh yeah, my abuela's, or she can't get healthcare, she can't get something. You're extremely successful, fiscally speaking. You could help. But her idea was, the government should pay for it. Because of course. You also have EZA says, goddamn Tucker is sharp for that one. Instantly just obliterated his argument, getting 257 likes. Drew for the Truth says, because Mark Cuban is cheap SOB. Hey Mark, since you are Ukrainian, why haven't you talked about this brutal murder? Which was the Ukrainian refugee Ira Zarunska, who came to the United States to escape a war zone, only to die because of, crime in inner cities and crime in public transit systems in the United States. That got 278 likes. Jack simply says, my IQ drops every time I hear Mark Cuban speak, getting 264 likes. Piss Alley says, Mark is walking pile of shit. There's Mark Cuban with the typical leftist glasses. Rims thicker than Rosie O'Donnell, or what would Trump say? Again, Mark Cuban greatly critiques Trump. So what would Trump say about the situation? Let's see. Mark Cuban, what a douchebag, what a hypocrite. He wants us to give more of our tax dollars to Ukraine, a place most people can't point to on a map. Yet he himself has even donated 15 cents to their GoFundMe. Well, wait, they don't have GoFundMe? Nevertheless, his glasses are as big, thick, and stupid as Rosie O'Donnell's face. He definitely looks like a woman reporter or an average leftist. Even has a douchebag turtleneck, not even a tactical turtleneck, which would be appropriate if he was black, because tactical turtlenecks are based. I mean, I don't know if Trump would say that precisely, but maybe something to that effect. That did get 41 likes. Well, not me, but the picture of Mark Cuban in those nerdy glasses. Which, again, there are 10,000 plus different glasses designs in the United States. Granted, they're made by like 3 companies, but there's so many designs to choose from, and leftists always seem to choose the dumbest ones. Let's see here. Chris Alley says this guy's their enemy, getting 41 likes. The tired guy on stage. Let's see. Michael V says, actually, they're from Russia. It says, he asked ChatGPT, where are Mark Cuban's grandparents from? It says, Mark's paternal grandparents were from Russia. His family came through Ellis Island and swapped Champinski for Cuban. Well, that is a lot simpler to say. And on his mom's side, they hailed from Romania. How would a name change? Wild how a name change could start a whole empire, right? Getting 48 likes, which, I think he probably would have made the same amount of money with either name, because again, he founded his companies. That's why he's richly successful. It was Micro Solutions was his first company, which is a IT value-added reseller and implementer. Kind of a kick-ass industry, kind of like Topping Technologies, because that's what we do. But in all seriousness, he then proceeded to do broadcast.com, where he sold to Yahoo for, again, billions in their stock, which he then liquidated or sold. Let's see. Kitty Hoppy says, Mark Cuban wants to spend your money on Ukraine, but won't spend his own. That's the difference between real charity and government force. Getting 204 likes. Oh, 206 likes, going up like a stock. Let's see. Prime Joshua says, you want them to donate some of their billions when they can just steal from us peasants and send it there? How rude, getting 21 likes. LA Liberty says, oh my God, Tucker exposed that hypocrite using his own words too, getting 14 likes. Fire News says that Mark just got owned, getting 36 likes. Seeking Truth simply says an awesome takedown of billionaire Mark Cuban by Tucker Carlson, getting 88 likes. Which, yeah, it was oddly satisfying to see again Mark Cuban getting, as the youth might say, getting owned or pwned, and his hypocrisy being highlighted so perfectly by Tucker Carlson. And yeah, I suspect Mark Cuban isn't actually going to donate anytime soon to Ukraine. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback. Let me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.